Tell, Cockerel. He's just a true guy. You'll have a true time. Tell, Cockerel. Leave your troubles at the door. You know the game, you know the score. We're here to have fun, so holster that gun and read the writing on the wall. The predictions league, done every week. It just goes on and 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 on. Why do I always get it wrong? Tell, Cockerel. He's just a chill guy. You'll have a chill time. Tell, Cockerel. Jose gets himself around. Always talking Spurs, wherever he is found, home or away. He always tips to win, throws the form book in the bin with a cheeky knowing grin. Tell, Cockerel. He's just a chill guy. You'll have a chill time. Tell, Cockerel. The Predictions League, done every week. It just goes on and on and on and on. Why do I always get it wrong? Every time I play along. Tell, Cockerel. The show is so chilled, your time is well filled. If you want good friendly chat, then here's where it's at. Tell, Cockerel. It just goes on and 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 on. Why do I always get it wrong? Tell, Cockerel. The show is so chill, your time is well filled. If you want good friendly chat, then here's where it's at. Tell, Cockerel.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Tell Cockerel. Today is Sunday, the 17th of August. We have played our first game of the season. Yay! And as per usual, with me is my partner in crime below, Chang. It's good evening to you, Chang. How are you today?
Doing very well, Senor Garcia. It's been a rip-roaring start to the season. What can I say? What more can I say? 3 goals, 3 points, and joints. Top of the league right now with Sunderland. That's a pretty good way to start off the new season. Coming back off the that very disappointing Super Cup against PSG. But absolutely can't wait to get this show on the road. And I see we have a very, very special royal guest in amongst our panel today.
Thank you, Chang. Nice
Good afternoon, Ellie. And how are you today?
Yeah, just to add to Chang's beautiful words there, we had a fabulous win, and what a fantastic, spectacular goal by Richarlison. Brazil's number 9 and Spurs' number 9.
We will be talking about all this. We'll be talking about all this. I was just asking in general how you were.
I'm okay. I'm really looking forward to the show, and I'm going on holiday next Saturday to Cyprus, so I'm really buzzed up. I'm going to miss a few games, and I'm on the flight when we play Man City, so I won't miss it though, because when we land, I think the kick-off is at 2. Is that correct?
I don't know. I was told that we were an early kickoff like next week. So if we are an early kickoff, we must be on TNT. So
It
I would
might
have
be
thought it'd be
12:30.
12:30.
Half
It
12,
might be.
yeah. So I'll be in the air. So I might, when we land, that's when I'm going to find out the score. So I hope I switch my phone on and we've got 3 points.
Yeah, our next match is the 23rd of August at 12:30.
Yeah. So I'm gonna miss it because you can't get reception up in the air.
Well, you can if you honestly, if you look at your flight, it will tell you that it hasn't got Wi-Fi, right?
Yeah.
And then after a while, so you got to put your phone on airplane mode. So when I
Oh,
just come
okay.
back, it said there's no Wi-Fi on your flight. So you look at your flight details, it says there's no Wi-Fi. But as they're up in the air, the Wi-Fi does come back.
Okay, good.
Ain't brilliant, but it does come back, and you
Yeah.
get snippets. It's not like Wi-Fi down on terra firma on ground like we have here. You're talking about
Yeah.
Wi-Fi up in the air, 37,000 feet up in the air. But
I know.
but yeah. So well, I hope when you back.
I'm back on the 5th of September. So I'm
Ooh,
away for 13 days.
so you're missing a couple of games then.
Yeah, a couple of games.
Because
The
on the
Bournemouth
30th we
game
play
as well.
Bournemouth, and I'll be at that game as well. So
Yeah. But
and
I'll
tomorrow.
have to get reception for that one because I'll actually be in Cyprus.
And tomorrow, I'm waiting for tomorrow morning to go on first thing in the morning and try and get Villa, Chelsea, and Man United tickets. They go on
Yes,
sale.
well
They go on
done.
sale tomorrow.
I'm definitely going to meet you at a few games, Jose. Definitely, 100%.
Let's say hello to a few people that we've got.
Yeah.
I'm mindful that we've gone at the same. Well, one of the big channels who swallows everything up has already gone live an hour ago. So I don't know what we'll get today, but we'll still do a show. Right,
Yeah.
Adrian, who's
Go
currently
on,
guesting on
Adrian.
that channel, has kindly come in and said, "Good morning, Jose Chang et al." But that was earlier. Shem Tam came in before the show, said, "Good morning, Mr. Bossman Jose, and the youngest looking old man, Chimichanga Chang. Hope you're both well today. Please tell Mr. Chang no fake bombers today, please." And Shem's back in and says, "Hey, it's wonderful Queen Ellie Hoiberg, Bentoncourt, Madders, Bergval, Ellie Coys. Hope you're well, your ladyship."
I love it.
I'm gonna say good evening because it's evening time. Good evening, Scott. C. I hope you're well, sir. Says hello, Jose Chang in chat. Quez, I'm gonna say good morning to you because I think you're in the States, so you're even earlier than us. If I'm wrong, you'll tell me. But good morning to you, Quez. I hope you're well. Good evening to Kiwi Spurs TV. Says big up, wonderful panel. Is that I'm having to remember where everyone's from. And then you've got Henry, who's here. Says big up the panel. Good afternoon, good evening, or good morning to Henry, wherever you may be. Right. So here we go. What are we starting off with? We will go over the game with our thoughts. And I'm going to start with Chang. Right. Chang, did you manage to watch, because I know it's a really awkward time for you. Did you manage to watch the whole game, part of the game? And then what your thoughts were?
I saw probably a good chunk of the game, maybe up to the point where we scored our third. That was close to midnight, and I'm glad that the timing was just nice for me to catch the game in between the times when I put my daughters to bed and before I myself, hit the lights. And what can I say? I think we thoroughly deserved the 3 goals and the 3 points. It could have been a whole lot more, but I'm not going to complain. I was really, really hoping and expecting to get a Mohamed Kudus debut goal in Lily White colours on his first full competitive game in our league, making his Premier League debut in our colours. And even though he didn't get his debut goal for us, what can I say? 2 assists, both of them for Richarlison. What more can you ask for? And as for Richarlison himself, well, if the first half volley was great, everybody and anybody who has any interest in fantastically shot goals has to see that second. That I think that second goal of his was rather similar to that goal that he scored for Brazil, but this wasn't even controlled. It was a first time shot. Again, beautifully lofted pass from Kudus. He just latched onto it and it just latched onto the bottom corner. And well, Brendan Johnson again, ole ole. That's all I have to say about that third goal. He is just proving all his doubters wrong. People think that he's a one season wonder, being our top scorer last season. Well, he's up and running again, ahead of Solanke or Bergval, Gray, Pepe Matassar, anyone else on the team. Well, it's Johnson again, ole ole, and very happy with the 3 points, but let's not get carried away because we have City to come. I'm going to save that for later, if you're going to preview that later. My final thoughts on the game was 3 points, 3 goals, 3 points. Again, joint top of the league with Sunderland. And let's just keep ourselves grounded because if things hadn't had gone our way, then today's show would have been a whole lot different. But let's just focus on the positives and soak up the 3 points. But as soon as the weekend's over, then it's back to back to work, back to the grind, and a very tough fixture away at Citeh, because if Manchester City can put 4 away past Wolverhampton Wanderers away on their travels, God knows what awaits us next weekend at the Citeh, with or without Savinho for either team. So that's going to be on the lookout as well. That's all I have to say. Without further ado, back to you, Jose.
No, it's not back to me. It's over to Ellie. What we're going over the game. What were your thoughts on yesterday's game? I am gonna talk. We are gonna talk Kudus. We are gonna talk Richie. We will talk Man City, but just going over your thoughts, Ellie, because obviously you've watched the game yesterday as well.
Yeah, I did. I watched it from home because I never attended the match. I had to stay with my hubby, but there were some very good points and there were some not so good points. The not so good points was our passing. Our passing was a bit wayward, especially from Romero and Spence early doors, but they soon sorted that out and we got a grip of the midfield, I feel. I think we dominated the midfield area, but we got pressed very high up and we found it hard to get that out ball into the midfield because they were really pressing us really well. So I thought we could have done a lot better getting the ball into transition. But when we did and we got it to Kudus, that's when we set on fire. That man, he's a genius. Honestly, he's such a brilliant dribbler and his close control and his ball carrying. He's going to be a massive asset for us come this season, right? And on the other side, we weren't using Johnson so much for obvious reasons because his ball skills are not there. But what he does offer us is a goal, right? He does. He might not do anything for the whole of the match, but he'll score a goal. Johnson, ole, ole, ole. But I would say Richarlison, I was so well impressed with him, right? His movement, his tenacity, his shithousery when he needed to do it. Because that third goal, he literally made it through his strength and tenacity to win that ball and not to lose it. And he got it forward to, I think, to Pepe Sarr, who laid, it was either Sarr or Spence, I can't remember, but they laid it off to Johnson to score. But what I want to highlight is that second goal of Richarlison's. What a fantastic, spectacular goal that was. And it got me off my seat and I was running around the room. My husband said, shut up, sit down. Right, but I just enjoyed it so much. The match was up and down, up and down. It wasn't all us because they had their chances as well, right? We switched off a couple of times, and I thought Thomas Frank would bring Danso on, but maybe he thought we were bossing the game and he didn't need to do that. But he brought on Paulinho and Benton Court, and then we did get a grip properly of the game because they slowed the game down, class on legs. And I heard you say, Jose, that Paulinho is a unit. Well, he is. He's like, you said he's got legs like tree trunks. And it pays to have a player like that in our team, Jose, because he's powerful, he's a leader. He can control the midfield, right? And he makes sure that everybody's doing their job. And you need someone like that. So I was very pleased. 3-0, a Thomas Frank victory, first game at White Hart Lane. And I'm so happy that we got the 3 points in the bag, and now we go to Man City with a positive attitude.
Yeah. So I was at the game obviously yesterday, and my thoughts on the game for yesterday are that watching the game yesterday, obviously we're playing different. It's absolutely different to what we played last year. What I found at the game yesterday watching it, so I was in the South Stand for people that are aware of the stadium, so I could see the whole pitch. So it wasn't like I'm on the side of the pitch and I'm not watching it on telly. I'm looking at the whole pitch. I can see the whole play in front of me, and what I saw was that the way that we started playing. So the way we started playing, so you're quite right. We were pressed high. When we were pressed high, they were playing the ball between Romero, Van der Ven, and the goalkeeper. And when they could, and they were being pressed high, they'd automatically see if they could find the fullbacks. The fullbacks would go and hug touch lines. So Porro and Spence would hug touch lines. But what was noticeable is that when they got the ball out wide, Porro would look for Kudus, but Spence wouldn't look for Johnson.
Yeah.
And that was noticeable. So I'm on the left-hand side of the South Stand. So right in front of me, right down my side of the pitch, was Spence and Johnson. So you could see the runs that were being made, right? And I think that because Johnson's not a one-on-one take-on merchant, they weren't using Johnson as much. But because Kudus is a one-on-one take-on merchant, they were using Kudus more. When they were pressing us high, what I saw is that the midfielders didn't stop moving around, though, mind you. They were moving around trying to find space and shake players off. But when they were moving around, what they did is two would go one way, one would go the other, or vice versa. Two would go this way and one would go this way. And there'd be a big hole in the middle of the pitch. And it was Richie that was coming to the halfway line and receiving the ball. So we were playing the ball right down the middle into Richie along the floor for the ball to stick to Richie.
Yeah.
And it seemed to work. I didn't see none of the fullbacks overlap I didn't see the fullbacks overlap Johnson or overlap Kudus. They weren't doing the overlapping. The fullbacks actually stayed fullback. If they pushed on, they could have pushed further down the pitch, but they were never further forward. Or I don't recall seeing them further forward than Johnson and Kudus. All right.
Yeah.
Only right at the end of the game. Right at the end of the game, I think Jed Spence might have got a crossing where he'd gone past the player, gone past whoever it was on the wing. It might have been Matthias Tell at the time. He's gone past Matthias Tell and put the ball in the box. So you can see that when we've got the ball, we're not looking for quick early ball, and it's all like methodical build up. Does that make sense? It ain't helter skelter football. It's all methodical build up. Do you know what I mean by the team? For me, no one said this yet, but the midfield three that we had yesterday, 21, 19, 18.
Yeah.
That's the youngest midfield I've ever seen in the Premiership by any team. Now, I'm going to turn around and I'm going to call it for what it is. At the start of the season, or when Thomas Frank was signed by Tottenham and before the season started, I'm hearing a lot of people saying that Frank is a great coach, master tactician. In Frank we trust, blah, blah, blah. Yesterday, I, for one, when I saw the lineup at the ground, I was like, what? What? This is not the lineup I expected, right? But they've played the three, and then I hear people saying, yeah, but Gray was crap. Yeah, but Sarr was crap. Yeah, but Bergwijn was crap. And I'm just like, hold on, hold on. On the one hand, you're all saying master tactician, he coached players, blah, blah, blah. He's picked the team for that game. Because you've always, you know, the reality, you've got to play what's in front of you, regardless who your opponents are, and you have to respect every opponent that you're playing against, right? And he's picked the three players. I could see, as I said, from seeing the whole pitch, I'm thinking to myself, where did Gray have a bad game? Gray played well. Gray was sitting in between the two centre halves and picking that ball up off him and then laying it off. Gray was getting into the tackle as well. He was trying to stifle their attacks and getting into the tackle. Now, don't get me wrong, Gray's no Paulinho, right? Gray's no Bentancur, but he played well. For the minutes that he played well. I felt that Tottenham started with the first 15 to 20 minutes. If we're going to call it numbers, right? Gray was the 6, Bergwijn was the 8. Sorry, Sarr was the 8. Bergwijn was the 10.
Yeah.
Right? He was the furthest forward of the three midfielders for the first 20 minutes. But after 20 minutes, that seemed to change. Gray still held the 6th position. But then it was Bergwijn that went into the 8. And then it was Sarr that went into the 10. Right? So they mixed it. But the three of them in the midfield, they gave us so much energy. They gave us so much energy. They were roundabout and all. So basically, while the game is in the balance, right, when we're 0-0, 1-0, and before we became 2-0, these players done all the running. So they done all the donkey work. When they were taken off, two of the players to take off and replaced by Paulinho and Bentancur. Paulinho and Bentancur, obviously, elder statesmen, elder heads. By that time, Burnley were done by that time, and they just then controlled the game, and it was like one touch passing to each other and back to the centre halves, and you know. But I thought all round the performance by the team, I thought was a really, really good performance. You know, yeah, you're quite right, Ellie, in saying that some people started off and looked a bit shaky to start with, but by the end of the game, you knew that your team had put a shift in. You know, and people are going to say, yeah, but it was only Burnley. It doesn't matter who you're playing. You've got to respect who's in front of you, and you know, you take it from there. Before we carry on, let me say, because we've had some more people pop in. It's nice to see. Tigaro is here. It says, morning, Jose, Ellie, and Mr. Chang. Hope you all of you in the chat are well. Tigaro, missed you Friday on predictions, mate. Because it's members only now. But if you want to do a predictions, you still got 4 games left, Tigaro. Starting with Crystal Palace, Chelsea today. There's 3 games today and 1 tomorrow. If you want to get 4 of your predictions in, I can go over the teams later for you if you're still here, Tigaro, to make sure you get your 4 in. Drula is here. Says, good afternoon, Jose, Auntie Ellie, and the young Chang, and the Cockerel crew. Good afternoon to you, Drula. I hope you're well. Paul G's here. Says, afternoon all. Come on, you Spurs. Good afternoon, Paul. Ain't seen you in a while. I hope you and the family are well. Paige is here. Says, afternoon, Paige. Good afternoon, Paige. I hope you are well. I hope you're well, Paige. Nice to see you. James is here. And James says, good afternoon to everyone. Good afternoon, James. Hope you're well, mate. Hope you're well. Razzle Dazzle. He's been giving me a bit of stick, this Razzle Dazzle fella. Says, good afternoon, all. And rightly so. I think Razzle Dazzle, his name is, obviously, it's going to be Darren in it. Yeah, his name's Darren. I can't work out which Darren he is, but he's done well and he's been giving me jip because he's done well in predictions. So
could he be Darren Anderton?
It could be, but Razzle Dazzle's been giving me a bit of jip, but it's all good. I did tell him that the season's only just started and the season's a long one. Tigara says that was probably Richie's best game for the club. Do you know what? I met a lot of people yesterday, and so I met Robbie from Lily White Lane, right? Really nice boy. He was with his dad. and I took photographs. And if people haven't seen them on my channel, you'll see I've taken a load of videos, short clips of yesterday, and I took some clips and I put them on my WhatsApp page. And he's seen it, and he said, "You must be right beside me from like the camera angle and that." Anyway, it turns out that he was 1 row and 2 people along from me.
Oh.
So anyway, I was speaking to him yesterday, and I said to him, and I'll be honest with you guys, I'm a Solanke man. I prefer Solanke to Richie, but I turned around and I said to Robbie before the game, I turned around and I said to him, look, Richie deserves his starting spot for the way that he played against PSG. I thought he's an absolute monster against PSG. For the 72 minutes he played, I thought he was a monster. And for me, he deserves his start. Solanke's not fit. We know that. Solanke's got to get up to fitness. It's not that he's generally a fit person, isn't he? Right? Do you know what I mean? He can get fit quite quickly, but he's not had the minutes that others have had. So for me, I thought to myself, okay, fair enough. I thought to myself, he deserves a start. And boy, he proved us right afterwards. Cool. But yeah, Richie did play well. I will say though, and I said this early last night, didn't I, on the 2 Mark show? When Solanke came on, the ball stuck to Solanke. Solanke was a handful. The ball stuck to Solanke when he came on. But by then, the damage had been done. So, Tigaro. Richie last season, we drew 2 with Everton, and Richie scored 2 blinders last year. Or was it the year before? He scored 2 excellent goals, if you remember, in a 2-2 draw against Everton.
Yeah.
The away game.
Yeah,
But
the away game.
But these 2 goals were probably better than the 2 he scored against Everton.
Yeah.
And they were, for me, they were both worldies at the time. Well, these are bigger worldy ones that he scored yesterday.
Yeah.
Free for all is here. Good afternoon, all. Says good afternoon. Free for all says, chuffed. We've got Frank at the helm. Good, solid performance yesterday. An injury-free Richie will be like a new signing. Bringing those 2-3 new signings, we're right in the mix. We will talk signings later. Young man Peter. Good evening, Peter. It says, hi, it's 9:23 in Melbourne. Peter, are you on your way to work? Are you at home? Are you on your way to work? Have you started your shift yet? Because Peter is a hard worker, works all the time, my Peter, and he does a sterling job, as we keep saying, as a paramedic, which is an absolutely vital job to have. And we thank paramedics around the world for their work and their efforts. So well done, you, Peter. Paige says, be right back, need a cup of coffee, nerves starting to kick in. Jess is here. Good afternoon, Jess. I hope you're well, Jess. It's really nice to see you. Hope you're well. Good afternoon, Jess. And then you've got Daniel is here. Daniel says, big up. Small downs to you, Dan. I hope you're well, sir. I hope you're well. And then you've got, Peter is gifted 5 channel memberships. And I only noticed now, I'm starting to look because someone has come in and said thank you to him. So they must have received it. Right. City Boy Talks Football, Indian Scouser, Paddy Hartnett, Lee Wiskid, and Rinketic. And Rinketic is the one that's come here and said thank you to Peter. So, people, now that you've got memberships, you might like to start playing in the predictions on Friday. It's week 2. Week 1's already started. If anyone's just become a member, you still have 4 games left in the predictions for this weekend. Taking part today, 3 games, and 1 game tomorrow. So all's not lost. Oh, Tigaro has gifted 5 channel memberships. Another very kind of Tigaro as well. And these have gone to Gigantic 68, Rich, Glenn Cornwall, Ben Kaufman, and Kate and Jimbo.
Yay!
So these people, if they've now got memberships, can also, if they wish, take part in the predictions game, which is members only. And game week 2 will take place on Friday. And for those that are here that have become members today or missed out on the predictions, later on I will put the next 4 games or the last 4 games up of the week so you can then enter them. So thank you very much to Peter. Thank you very much to Tigaro. Very, very kind of you. So I'm going to start with Chang. I'm going to move on and start with Chang, right? What does Kudus offer?
He offers something that we've not seen for a good long time now at our club. No disrespect to our existing wingers or even our former captain in Son Heung-min, but let's put it this way: the amounts of pinpoint crosses that he's able to float in that one half of football, or even the first hour or so, for both of Richarlison's goals is, I think, as good as it gets from a debutant for us in the league proper. And long may that continue. Having said that, I think we've been properly starved of this sort of service ever since Perisic was released from his contract due to his injury to return to Croatia. But yeah, this is exactly the kind of service that our forwards need if they are to get the goals. And again, no disrespect whatsoever to Son or Johnson when they were operating on the white wings from last season. But if this continues on, I can even see Solanke bagging easily double figures in the league this season. That's not even considering, or rather not counting the domestic cups and also the European campaign. So yeah, Kudus offers us something that we all of us Spurs fans have been craving for. That service, that's pinpoint crosses, and well, hopefully goals as well. Goals as well to come from the wing. I can honestly see him and maybe a Savino or even an Abereke Eze working in tandem to terrorize our opposition down both flanks. And it's such a breath of fresh air to see a winger that can not only get those crosses on target, but also have the legs and the skill to take on his defender or his marker. If you were to watch both the goals, he absolutely turned on the afterburners and completely beaten his markers on both occasions for both of Richie's goals. And that's not even, taking into account the way he completely just tore PSG a new one on Wednesday night. So long may this continue, but because I know we have a long campaign to go, I think we should manage him carefully. I have I haven't heard any sort of updates on our medical staff just yet. So, assuming that we still have the same medical staff from last season, I think Thomas Frank should take notice, or rather, he should be aware that players that push too hard might come a cropper. You just have to ask Madison or Kulusevski or anyone else who's still on the long-term injury list about this. But yeah, as far as Kudus is concerned, my goodness, how we've been craving for such a world-class signing. Yes, I am considering world-class because he absolutely walks right into that starting 11 of ours, probably even any other team in the top four as well, because he's that good. And I'm so glad we got him. And absolutely looking forward to seeing him for the rest of the season. And I think that his first big real test would be against City away at the Etihad next weekend. Having said that, it's back to you, Jose.
For you, Ellie, what does Kudus offer us?
What doesn't he offer us? That's the bigger question. He's just like a genius on the ball. And like he showboated as well when he just done that little flick in front of Thomas Frank, where he just trapped the ball on his outside of his boot. It was like magical. It reminded me of Berbatov. And we all know what Berbatov's touch was like, and we've got a winger that's going to put fear into all Premiership teams and all the Champions League teams as well, because he's already proved it against the top cream of the crop team in PSG. And now we go to Burnley, different opposition. But like you said, Jose, you've got to play who's in front of you, right? And his attitude is the same as against PSG that it was against Burnley. That's what I was very impressed about. Because some players with his skill might think, oh, this is too easy. I don't even have to try. But he did try. And boy, did he try it. He's like, it's the drop of the shoulder, Jose, right? And he feints to go one way and then he goes to the other and he drops his shoulder again. And before you know it, like Chang said, afterburners, he's left his marker for dead. And what's brilliant as well, he's got a fantastic cross. He looks up. I like players who have their head up when they play. He looks up, see what's on, pinpoints the pass to Richarlison, not just once, but twice, to score 2 magnificent goals. And I just think his work rate is fantastic as well. He's not just a luxury player that just turns it on when he has to. He runs back, he tracks back, he helps the team. You know, we've got a star player here. We've got to nurture him as well, like Chang said, you know, manage his minutes so that he doesn't burn out. Because the worst thing we want is he is our best player at the club. What, 100% now, right? So we've got to make sure that he doesn't pick up an injury. And now the biggest test is against Man City, right? If he does it against PSG, I'm about, I would say 100% confident that he's going to do it against Man City, but I've got a lot of confidence in him because he trusts his ability. And I saw his interview where he said he's playing in a position that he thrives and he wanted to play this position all the time at West Ham, but they put him in the middle a lot of the time. Yeah, and he doesn't like that position. He likes beating men. He's the best dribbler in the league from the stats last season, and we can see why. It's evident. He's so exciting to watch, and he's one to get you off your seat, isn't he? He's like, we had Ginola, we had Waddle, we had Gareth Bale, now we've got Kudus. So I'm really excited for this season and what he can bring to the table. We've already seen a snippet. If that continues, Jose, we're in for a massive treat. We are. And I'm so happy to be a Spurs fan right now. Come on.
Interesting. Right. So you've got let me say just hello to some right, people talking to each other, and you've got Matthew is here, says hello. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, Matthew, wherever you are. Nice to have you here, sir. I hope you are well. Ronnie is here, says hello, Jose, Queen Ellie, and Mr. Chang Coys. Afternoon, Ronnie, mate. I hope you're well. I'm having a chat with Peter about his work. Daniel says he showed the best left back in the world last Wednesday you can use his strength as well. And
100%.
Paige says kudos is class. That much was clear during his time at Ajax. Spurs got a good player on their hands for sure. What a beast of a player we've nicked from them hammers, says Druna.
Go on,
And Tigara says, now let's go and get Eze pronto, is what he says. And we will discuss incomings. Right, so all I'm going to say to people is, if people have got the use and the ability of using their phones or their computers, I don't know how you find it, but I saw it on X yesterday. There was an interview with Mohammed Kudus for beIN Sports. So it's BEIN, beIN Sports. And in beIN Sports, in his interview yesterday, and these were his words. These are not my words. These are the words of Mohammed Kudus. And they went somewhere along the lines of, he turned around and he said that what he felt, he said, they asked him, does he like, the position he plays and stuff like that. Now, I turned around and I remember before the start of the season, there was a lot of rumouring going around that when he signed for Tottenham is because he wanted to play in a certain position. And we were led to believe by people that were talking about at the time that he wanted to play in the 10, right? Now, he's played right across all 3 positions, or 4 positions even for Ajax. He's done the same at West Ham. But if you listen to his interview yesterday on beIN Sports, he wants to be a winger. He turned around and he said his game is, and what he wants, and there's nothing better than, is to having the ball and being fronted up by a man and that he can take his man on. This is him saying it in his interview yesterday. And yesterday, you got to see that. Like Daniel says, we got to see that against PSG as well. He wants to front his man. He wants to take his men on, and go past them. And he did that. The last person, you can say that Berbatov might have been the last person to have touched like that. But the last person that we had that could take a player on at ease, and I'm talking about at ease, was Ginola.
Yeah.
Or would you say
And
Gareth
Chrissy
Bale?
Hoddle.
Or Gareth
Yeah.
Bale? No, I'm talking about the last person, not years and years ago, but Ginoli
Yeah.
used to do it. People might say that Bale did it for a bit as well, but
Yeah.
when he was getting the ball, I said this yesterday. Eddie heard me on the show because I was invited on the show yesterday. And I said yesterday I wanted to discuss this morning on my show, but I'm going to have to repeat myself twice. So if people heard me last night, I'm going to say it again, right? If you're a Tottenham supporter, you were given a little toy on a string, weren't you? Well, now you've been given a footballer who's got a football on a string. I said yesterday night, do you remember the bat and ball that you get? There's a bat with a
Yeah.
string, and you just go knock, 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 knock like that.
Knock, knock,
Well,
knock. Yeah.
that's exactly what he's got. The ball is on a string. That ball the ball that I was referring to that you've already spoken about, and I was saying this last night on the show, the one where it was a crossfield ball from Jed Spence, I think it was, has gone right onto the other side, and he flicked his leg inside out, and he's controlled it with the heel of his foot, and it's only gone 6 inches up from where he's controlled it. And then if you watch him, he's sort of like with his other foot, he rolls the ball with the top of his foot and
I
goes
know.
past the player. This guy has the ball and he has the player on toast. He is absolutely going to be an absolute demon. We're very lucky to have him. I don't know what. I think that probably West Ham wanted to play him all in different positions, and he just wanted to play in one position. Tottenham have offered him that one position he wants to play in, and he was happy to come to us. It is West Ham's loss, and I don't know why West Ham. It's like I said, I can only think that West Ham was saying, "Yeah, you're going to play. You know, we'll play you as a 10. We'll play you on the left. We'll play you on the right. We'll play you as an 8 at times." And he said, "No, no, no. I'm strictly Pierce. I want to play wing. I want to be a winger." He plays
Yeah.
for us, and we are so lucky to have him. But we will go on to speak about new signings after. It's a great start to have him on your right wing because he is. Yesterday, you go to the games, right, Ellie? You know what they were calling him yesterday, don't you? When
What
he got the
good?
ball, when he got the ball, we can't say it's the word you can't really say here, but they use in the stadium all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So every time he got the ball, that was being sung. Every time he got the ball, that's the appreciation they had from straight away. They were all singing that in the stadium as soon as he got the ball. It was just
It's
absolute
fantastic.
in unison, the whole stadium. Just you know what I'm talking about. The repeat chant that used, yeah, it was, yeah, the whole stadium. Yeah, when you go to your next match, you'll know exactly what I'm talking. I will say yesterday that even before kickoff, I mean, I don't know what happened with the protest because I got there late, but I don't know whether the protest there was lots of people, there wasn't lots of people. I don't know what happened with the protest, but all I will say is that when I got to the stadium and when I was in the stands before the game, there was a real feel-good factor, and everyone was up. I was speaking to a few people, so obviously Robbie Lillywhite Lane. I saw Leader Dorset Spur, Kevin Clark, Ian Meff, Adrian, speaking to all these people, and Ian Meff said to me, "Bloody hell, Jose," he goes, "what a difference." The first time I met him face to face, he goes, "What a difference it makes." He goes, "I came here last season at some games and they were like a morgue. People were so pissed off and dejected and stuff like that." He goes, "Today's atmosphere and the way that everyone's bouncing today is totally different to what it was last season." And long may it continue. Long may it continue.
True.
Sorry, so now let's get Eze pronto. Peter, Matthew has gifted 5 channel memberships.
Ooh,
That is
well
really
done.
kind of you, Matthew. And they've gone to Johnny, the 2 Mark Show Cookie, SDFC Benny, Hammers Football TV, so that's to Tony, and to the 2 Mark Show Sheriff. So not only Cookie, but
Yay.
Sheriff got one as well. But
Good.
very, very much appreciated, Matthew. It's very kind of you. Thank you very much. Sagara says, "Yeah, I was going to mention Maradona, Pete, but they have never been too bad for me. Austin is great, but it's Northern." Oh, they're talking to each other. Sorry. Daniel says Bale, and then says Bale ran past people at will with pure athletic pace.
Yeah. He's not as. I don't think Bell has got the dribbling skills of Kudus. I just think Kudus is like a natural dribbler. He's more like, you know, when I know it's going back a bit, but like when Lucas Moura and Lamella and Lennon, those
Yeah.
three, they're dribbling footballers. Whereas Bowie used his pace and power to beat men.
And I think that's what Daniel's alluding to.
Yeah.
That Bale ran most people at
Yeah,
will pure
that's
athletic
why
pace.
I was reiterating what he said because it's spot on.
So Matthew says Frank may just surprise this season. Is Savinho and Eze in? We are going to discuss this. We've not got to that stage yet, Matthew, but we will discuss this. James is saying he's worried about the Eze situation. We will come on to this.
Yeah.
Daniel says, I almost forgot what it was like Tottenham winning a league game. Jose, Sides here says, hi, Jose Chang, Eddie. How are you feeling about the Eze deal? I'm not so certain now. We will discuss it. Matthew gave out 5 memberships earlier and has now become a member again. Thank you very much, Matthew. It's much appreciated. Welcome on board. Ronnie says Eze starts for Palace.
Yeah.
Right. So we talked about Mohamed Kudus. Now, next one. Chang. Can we keep Richie fit?
Well, this is what I was speaking about earlier when I was saying as to how we should manage Kudus carefully. I think in terms of Richarlison's fitness, I think it's also down to the physios and our medical team to sort of keep him in shape and fit and fighting for whatever upcoming matches we have, because we have no idea just how soon are we going to get Solanke back to full fitness and back on form again. So as far as Richarlison is concerned, if we can even get him to be playing, say, 3/4 or even 2/3, let's say 2/3 for starters, if we can even 2/3 of the season with him involved, I think that would be a massive improvement compared to the last 3 seasons it's been now since Conte, since he came in under Conte. So yeah, I think his first tall order would be to even start as more matches than he has in his previous seasons. And I think that would be down to Thomas Frank, how he's deployed, how often, how much he's going to be pushed, or even how much he pushes himself. Because when you saw him getting substituted yesterday, especially if you're watching on the telly, you could see that he was absolutely annoyed to have been taken off and not given the opportunity to back his first Premier League hat-trick in Lily White. But I mean, it's all part of the plan. I'm sure Thomas Frank has his plans for him come next weekend at the Etihad against City. So yeah, managing him and managing his minutes would be key to that. And I think Thomas Frank showed that yesterday by taking him off with half an hour to go. Even though I think he should have probably got his hat trick well before the hour mark. But I think as far as managing his fitness, yeah, Thomas Frank is going to have a big say in that as well. And from the looks of things yesterday, I'd say he's doing a fine good job. So long may that continue. But yeah, I think the sooner we get Solanke to rotate with him, especially once our European campaign gets underway, that is going to be very key. So to answer your question, Jose, yeah, I really do hope we can keep Richie fit, and not only fit, we want him to be involved as many matches as possible, because it would appear that Thomas Frank has finally unlocked the Richarlison that we've seen so often for the Toffees before his move away from Goodison. So yeah, let's keep Richarlison fit, and it's on to the next game for him, and hopefully on with the next goal scoring run for him as well. Having said that, back to you, Samuel Garcia.
So I don't know whether, before I go to Ellie, Chang, I don't know whether it's going to change what you said at all, but you did talk earlier saying you wasn't sure about the medical team. The medical team at Tottenham has changed. They have changed it. I think that that Frank brought in a load of backroom staff. So as far as I'm aware, the medical team has been changed. I think that was highlighted when at the beginning of the summer when people were leaving the club. I think there was some medical people that left the medical department, or sorry, that were relieved of their duties. I remember reading a story about one of our medical department last year in the winter, around Christmas time, when we were having all the big injuries, when we had that, the 13 players out, and he went on 2 weeks holiday. So the medical team, Chang, I don't know if it changes your answer or anything, but the medical team has been changed at Tottenham.
Yeah.
Cool. Ellie, can we keep Richie fit?
Yeah, I'm going to pick up on what I've been seeing in training and what I've been reading about Thomas Frank's backroom team, especially the strengthening team. I'm very impressed with the way they've got the players training in terms of their strength. Because when you strengthen the muscles, guys, you strengthen the body, the whole body, right? So when you have those impacts and those knocks, you can recover a lot quicker, or you just don't have those, those rebuffs because your muscles are stronger, right? And if you work on that, which I'm very impressed with the way they've got the players strengthening their muscles, right? And if you saw Kulu the other day, oh my God, he's doing so much strength, upper and lower, right? So I expect him to be back soon as well, because they're fantastic. His team have worked so well since they've come in, and you can see the difference in the fitness of the players. But getting back to Richie and how we're going to help him stay fit, well, the luxury is we've got Solanke as well, so we can rotate. We could rotate them last year, but it seems like Solanke was in and Richie was left on the sidelines a lot because of his lack of fitness. But now he can stake a claim, right? And if he's playing well, he'll last 60, 70 minutes even, right? And maybe one or two games, he might even go for the 90 until he builds up even more strength. So I think we've got a luxury there where we can rotate them both. And if we do bring in another striker, that'll even help them even more, because you've got maybe a younger striker, maybe like a Nico Paz, someone like him. Although he's not a striker, he scores goals, right? And he's very good in the box. But with Richie, I think we can help him a lot by just rotating him and not knackering out any player really, not just Richie. We've got a benefit of rotating a lot of our players, but I feel Richie, he's a confidence player, isn't he, as well? So now he's scored 2 goals, he'll want to play the next game, and if he gets dropped, he's going to feel very upset, I feel. So we've got to manage that part, because remember, he had all those mental health problems as well. So we've got to make sure that mentally and physically that he's right. Yeah, and then we're going to see the best of him. All right, so I'm just looking forward to seeing what we're going to get from him, to tell you the truth, for the rest of the season, because we've seen Richie hit purple patches a couple of times in his Spurs career and in other careers as well, like at Everton. I mean, I think his top scoring season was 13 or 15. So he's not a prolific striker, but if we can get that out of him, and we can get 15 to 20 out of Solanke, that'd be fantastic. But I think Richarlison, I think he's got the mentality now. I can see, because like Chang said, when he came off, you can see he was physically, I wanted to get my hat trick, and he's got that fire in his belly again, right? And any striker thrives on that, not just Richarlison. All strikers, if they score goals, it gives them confidence, and I'm looking forward to seeing what we're going to get from him. Back to you, Jose.
Sorry, I needed to unmute myself.
Yeah, I was thinking, what's happening?
Right, so people are talking about Eze. We will come to that. Jimmy says, folks, it was Burnley favourites to be relegated. Some people needed to calm down and judge the game. Right, Jimmy, I turned around and I was at the game yesterday, and all I said, and I've maintained this, Jimmy, I know who the game was against, but you've got to respect every opponent you play, regardless, right?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, Thomas Frank, all I heard was people before the start of the season, Jimmy was saying the guy's a great tactician, the guy will coach us, the guy will do this, the guy will do that. Well, when I got to the ground, I for one wasn't expecting the lineup that I saw yesterday, and I was like, what? Anyway, all I hear people saying is, why would he done that? Why has he put this midfield together? What he don't know what he's doing, blah blah blah. At the end of the day, he's coaching the team. He's put the tactics into the side. He's picked the side that he thinks is going to go and win the game. You know, because it was a completely changed side from what it was. The front six is a completely changed team, more or less, than what it was against PSG. And at the end of the day, we will see, I think we may see more of this throughout the season. And at the end of the day, you can't have your cake and eat it. And I'm talking about people in general. You can't say the one thing on the one hand and then the other hand say, no, but what you're trying to do, cause controversy. Either you believe that he is a good coach, and either you believe that he's a good tactician, or you don't. You can't have it both ways. And fans seem to be like this, reactive, and they don't need to be reactive. At the end of the day, he's picked the team to go and win a game. The other thing with Burnley, and I said this last night on the show that I was invited on, is that people forget Burnley were well set up against us yesterday. Burnley set up well against us. How many times have we played against low block teams, right? Not only Tottenham, but other teams as well. And you see the horseshoe football. And it becomes absolutely boring to watch. The football becomes so that you don't want to watch it. Yesterday, we scored 3 goals. Their defence was the best defence in the 4 divisions last season. You know, and that wasn't by chance. I know it's a championship. It wasn't by chance. It's because they were well drilled, you know, by Scott Parker. At the end of the day, yesterday, you know, we've played well. We've scored 3 good goals, and we've won the game. Yes, more training on the pitch. I'm glad that we're not playing at the moment 2 games a week, because it means that Thomas Frank can still train with the team, do full training with the team during the week, because we're only playing once a week. The difficulty comes and the time runs out, even when you get signings coming in. For them to learn the way that we play, you need to have these sessions during the week. And when we're making signings, if we leave it too long, then we're going to get into the realms of when we start playing 2 games a week, and then you don't get as much training time with the team. So anyway, it is what it is. Right, so what I've done for people is I've put in there in the chat, predict the Premier League, predictthefootball.com. It's a game that we're playing, and if people want to enter it, it's free of charge. It's there, and you go to that link and you enter that code, and you can join us in the Hotel Cockerel League there. And also Fantasy Premier League. If you've already picked a team, right, all you've got to do is put this code in, and that'll take you to the Hotel Cockerel League, which you're more than happy to join. It's free of charge as well. If you haven't selected a team, you want to select one now, then just go and do it. I thought this last night, Dan. Fair play to Sunderland, because they might go down. Trying at least. They're going to give it a effing go. Burnley front line and midfield is crap. Right. At the end of the day, you can't turn around and say it's only Burnley. Did West Ham say that to Sunderland yesterday? Do you think Leeds United are going to go out on Monday night and think to themselves, oh, we're playing Everton, God, we ain't got a chance? Do you think Everton are going to say, well, it's only Leeds? At the end of the end of the day, you just got to respect every single team you play. Can I say that last season, just to finish that point of what people were saying, last season, how many games did we lose to teams that had just come up from the season before?
Yeah.
Did we not get beaten by Ipswich at home?
Yeah, Leicester.
No, yeah, did we not get beaten by teams that had just come up last season? So, this team's just come up. We were at home. We got the win. Done. Let's move on. Right, Chang. And please don't drop bombers, like Chim Tam said earlier. He doesn't want you to drop any fake bombers. Any news on incomings? What do you think on the state of play at the moment with incomings?
So as far as incomings are concerned, it will appear that Crystal Palace are trying to do a Levy themselves or an Enoch by trying to find a replacement before they can even sell. This was reported by David Ornstein on Twitter 2 hours ago. It says that Palace are now approaching Club Brugge for Christos Solis as an option to replace Eze, and they have offered Club Brugge, but currently Club Brugge aren't entertaining any offers from Crystal Palace for this player to replace Eze. But it would appear that Crystal Palace are now making moves for the inevitable exit for Eze. And as far as let me get it here. As far as incomings are concerned, well, it will appear that Palace themselves are playing hardball. They are trying to make the most of Eze. Let me get this out here. Let's put it up there. There we go. Let's see if anyone can see that. So
Yeah.
Eze features on their match day lineup. They have purposely put his face and his name on the lineup against Chelsea away at Stamford Bridge. And a lot of people are saying that this is his farewell game, much like Son's farewell against Newcastle. But until he signs on the dotted line, I'm going to treat this like the Morgan Gibbs White Here We Go from Fabrizio Romano, because even with Here We Go, we know that it's not over till the player has signed on the dotted line and posed for photos to do his promo. But I think it's looking positive as far as Eze is concerned. As for Savinho, well, Savinho posting him being at the training ground, or rather in the gym, when Pep Guardiola openly stated that he was left out because of his injuries. Well, I think that's his own way of saying that he's not injured. He's just waiting to see if this deal for him can be done. And if this report is to be believed, that Savinho's agents are now in London trying to work out some sort of agreement for Savinho, then I can see this going ahead, assuming both parties do not budge on the valuation. That includes Citeh and Enoch. So if there is a deal to be paid, or rather if there's a deal to be done, pay it. Just pay whatever it takes to get both Eze and Savinho over the line, because we've already seen Eze about to start for Palace. Next weekend will decide whether Savinho comes or goes, because this is the conundrum here with Savinho. Next weekend's away game against City could see him start for either club. Savinho could start for City against us, or he could start for us against City at Etihad. So that's something that I'm going to be keeping a close eye on. But I really do hope we get Eze in the next couple of days. Hopefully, we can get him bedded down into the squad, because I would very much welcome Eze straight into the starting 11, because he offers us so much more than whatever Bergvall was able to produce yesterday. No disrespect to Bergvall, that is, but it's looking positive as far as incomings are going. Last but not least, if these are the only two incomings, I would be very happy. If we were to get either one of them, I would be also very satisfied. But if we were to end this transfer window without another signing, then I would be completely devastated, seeing as how we've loaned out so many players and released Son to LAFC as well. So hopefully we get a signing or two in the next week or so, because I would not want to be doing deadline deals so close to the end of the transfer window, knowing that the stake of our season would depend on it if it were to come to that. So hopefully we get the incoming sooner but later. But it's looking positive for the first time in a good long while. Having said that, back to you, Senor Garcia.
Ellie,
Yes.
what are your thoughts on links, incomings, and the shenanigans that are going on? What are your thoughts?
I think Eze is a must, 100% must. because we are lacking creativity from the middle. Now, Maddison's gone down with his long-term injury, so we need that in the team more than I say Savinho. If we can get both, it'll be fantastic. What great player Savinho is as well, and he assists. He doesn't score that many goals, but his job was to cross the ball to Haaland, basically, get it to Haaland to score. So I'm very excited. I think Eze is a fabulous footballer. He's going to add so much creativity and so much class on the ball. He's just a master. Like, he finds pockets of space, guys. He's just a natural footballer. He's just got all the time in the world to pick out a pass as well, and he can score goals as well, which is currency from midfield. We need those goals extra, because however good Richarlison and Solanke are, they haven't really proved in their careers that they're getting into the 15, 20, 25 mould, are they? They have only once with Solanke at Bournemouth. All right, so we've got to have goals from other areas. If we can have 15 from Eze, that's a bonus. And if we could get 5 to 10 from Savinho, maybe even more, because the boy is talented. He's a fantastic winger. And what I like about him as well, he cuts from the wing, comes inside like Sonny used to do, like an inside forward. I've been watching him a lot since we've been linked with him. I did watch him before, but you know when you're linked with a player, you watch more, right? So I think he's got such good control of the ball. He carries the ball well. He's strong, right? He's a fantastic dribbler. So we're going to have two different players, but in two different areas that we're weak in. Because however good Johnson is at scoring, yeah, we need somebody to take on players and to put the ball in for our strikers. Because when strikers are on form, guys, they get confidence, and then we'll see better from them, right? Because they'll be scoring regularly and it'll become a habit, all right? And if the ball's put on their head or pinpointed to them, like these two boys can do, Kudus and Savinho, it'd be so good. Because I don't think Odebear's there yet, although I've seen flashes of some really good stuff from him. And I'm certainly, Tell needs work. He does need work, the boy, on his confidence as well. All right. But I think if we get Eze, if we don't get Savinho, let's get Eze. He's the most important one for our team. Back to you, Jose.
Let me just have a look. So you've got, right, just catching up with the chat. So there's a Predictor Football's in there, Fantasy Premier League's in there. If you want to join, the links are in the chat. Paige says, hopefully for Spurs, the Eze deal gets over the line. At least you don't have to worry about Demis Roussos this time. People will soon learn, don't believe all the BS that you read. Jimmy Hotspur says this type of thing is what happens when you wait 78 days to buy someone of quality. The strategy has never worked, and we haven't learnt with one common denominator. I'll let you guess who. Mr. Shear is here, says, hey, two cobbers and a Quebec. Good evening to you, David. I hope that you are on the road to recovery. I had a chat with David yesterday morning, about 24 hours ago. Well, a bit longer, about 29 hours ago. I had a chat with David. He's got flu. He's down with it, and he's not very well. So I'm hoping and passing on positive vibes and hope you get better very, very soon, David. The Wiz is here. Good morning, Lee. I hope you're well. Lee, you were gifted your membership by Peter Gagaius earlier, which means that, Lee, you can now take part in predictions if you want. For Tigaro, for Lee, for Matthew that I see here, I will do the 4 games that are left this weekend if you want to do some predictions this week, because it is for members only. Tigara says Savinho is not worth 70 million. That's more than Eze, and Eze is elite. And Savinho are making the deal difficult, says Daniel. Right. So for me, I said last night, I'll say it again, right? So what I can see last season, right? It was, for me, we had players that were very samey. If that makes any sense. Yeah. So if you on the right hand side, you would play or on the left-hand side, you would play. And I thought players were much of a likeness. We didn't have a, put it this way, with the wide forwards last year, Tell, Odebert, Son, Johnson, whoever played there weren't take-on merchants. They're all the same. They did the same thing, if that makes any sense. Our midfielders, it's probably the way that we set up, did the same things, right? Obviously, with Kudus, you can see a one-on-one take on merchant, and you can see what he can do. Paulinho, he's different to the other midfielders that we've got. Do you see what I mean? So it's different. For me, I said this last night. You look at your back four that he played yesterday, and you look at your back four, you look at your goalkeeper. Yeah, we got Kinski as number 2, right? And you got your goalkeeper. You got a doggy to come back in at fullback, and you got the fullbacks you've got already. You got Danso and Vuskovic that can play centre halves, so you're covered there. If you're gonna look at Ben Davis as a left back, you're covered there as well on a fullback. When you go into midfield, if you've got the sitting two, not the sitting two, but if you're playing a 4-2-3-1, you've got Paulinho and Bentancur. Absolutely immense, right? Absolutely immense, them two. And then if, and it's a big if, but if you get the players that we're being linked with over the line, Kudus, Eze, Savinho, that team gets elevated straight away. And then you play whoever, you play either Richie or Solanke up front. If you can keep these players fit, right, and by fit I mean they play a lot of games, but they get rotated, then our younger players, even though Savinho's young, our younger players in Tell, Odebert, Gray, Bergvall, these players will learn. These players will learn off of the players that we've got in that first 11, and it will make us stronger. And you rotate, and then you rotate your players because we're going to be playing all the competitions. So you end up rotating your players. Last year, the one criticism I did give to Ange is I felt, one, that he didn't rotate enough. I felt he was stubborn and kept picking the same players. So you have 13 injuries, same players were getting picked from, to replace the players that were injured, and we never rotated them, and therefore we ended up with even more injuries. This year, I'd like to see some rotation within reason. I want to see some rotation so these players learn off these other players. Yeah, the drop off would be immense if you were dropping all 11 players, but you're not going to drop all 11 players, are you? So for me, I just think, what a difference if you've got a starting lineup that includes an Eze and includes a Savinho, that absolutely elevates your team. It's a no-brainer for me.
Yeah.
I've said before previously, and I'll say again, that other teams, and I shouldn't be looking at other teams, but I have to compare other teams to us, because that's the only way that people will understand, is that your other teams around us, in and around, even teams below us or supposedly below us, right? These teams either improve and add to their squad, or they replace with better in their squads. Tottenham we're fighting fires because we're like 5 to 7 years behind. We're as far behind as when we didn't make signings for the 560 odd days, because then we're playing catch up, because then we've kept players in our squad well past the sell by date. We wouldn't release them, we wouldn't get rid of them. Now we're trying to play catch up, and the way to catch up is, if you're looking at all the teams around us, people are dropping 200-300 million players, and they were already ahead of us. So you've got to start somewhere. You've got to stop dropping them bombs and them packages to bring the players in, to elevate you as a team, to keep you as close as possible to the Joneses. And in order to do that, we need to go and get reinforcements. It was abundantly clear yesterday. It was abundantly clear to me yesterday as well that, watching the team play yesterday, although it was Burnley, and I can only measure the game yesterday, I felt, looking at the lineups that we had yesterday and looking at the way the team played, we do need more players. We definitely need more players, and them two would be a great start. Obviously, we started with a midfield three yesterday of the 3 youngsters. we have discussed what Paulinho and Bentancur look like. Listen, let me tell people, I rate Bentancur, always have done. I have always said that he has to trust his body again after two major injuries. He's had one after the other. He's had 18 months to 2 years to trust his body again. And you can see now that he's trusting his body. The shift that he put in against PSG was absolutely immense. And watching him play yesterday, the guy's a silky player. He absolutely is a silky player. And, we need to add to that. We can't rely, like I said, we can't keep relying on that starting 11 week in, week out. You've got to do some rotation. And in order to do that, we need to bring players in. And the Savinho would offer you something different, as opposed to playing Johnson or Tell there, because Savinho is a take-on merchant. He's a one-on-one. So he's like Kudus, but on the other side, he wants to take his player on. Where if you look at Tell, you look at Odebert, they're not drop your shoulder take-on merchants. So what you need is instead of having, I felt like I said, the point in cases we had too many people that were the samey last year for me. This year, if we bring these players in, we'll have something different. As well as you can change your game and bring the sameys in.
I think Coderberg's got. I think Coderberg. I think you're playing him a disservice there, because I think he is a take-on merchant. I think he has got it in him, because I saw him the first game that he played. He played out of his skin. I think it was against Everton. I'm not sure.
It was the game that we went to watch.
Yeah,
it's his first game.
He played really well, and he took on his man, and he dropped his shoulder, and he beat his man. He's got that in him. He just needs to get a run of games, which he probably is not going to get unless he plays in the League Cup or the FA Cup, right? But he has to impress when he gets his chance, all right? He's still young, he's still learning, right? So, but I can see that in him. And you know what you mentioned about Bentancur as well? I just wanted to pick up on that, because I think now we're bringing in more competition in those midfield roles. The players that we look at as senior midfielders, they've had to step up their game so they keep their spot, right? And Bentancur, boy, has he stepped up his game, right? I've always liked him. I've always loved Bentancur, because he's a class player, but he's been inconsistent. Now he's got the competition, and we're going to bring in more midfielders as well. If it doesn't mean, because Eze's coming in, that it's a different position to him, he's still got to play well to keep his position, because Gray will be gunning for his position. So will Bissouma, all right, if we keep him, all right. So he's got to keep that level up so that he's the first on the team sheet, because Bentancur, he brings a lot to our team, but he's just lacks that inconsistency. And what you said about trusting his body, that is true. Because when he's had a cruciate knee ligament and he's had an ankle injury when Matty Cash got him as well, right? So you can see that he's a stronger player this year, and he's going for the full 90, right? Especially, I don't know if you remember that game where I think it was after 60 minutes he was taken off. I think it was against Bournemouth, and you could see he was lagging. His fitness was lagging. But I think the medical team that we've got in now, they've been working on him, because he looks stronger and he's running more powerful. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to see what we're going to get from Bentancur as well. So I do rate him as a player.
But then also as well with the Eze thing, I don't think all is lost, and I don't. And this is coming from someone that says follow the evidence. Facts are facts.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, what we've got at the moment is you've got two players that we're chasing. You've got to realise who we're dealing with, and we're dealing with Steve Parish. Steve Parish is the same as Levy. They're going to try and get the best deal possible for Crystal Palace. The fact that Eze's playing today, two ways of looking at it. One could be that the deal is not close, or two, it could be that the deal is close and this is Eze's chance to say goodbye to the fans, although it's an away game. So there are two ways of looking at it. Daniel was right earlier in the chat when he said something about these ITKs. They haven't got a clue what they're talking about. And all I say to people, and I think Danny was trying to allude to it earlier. But all I say to people is do your own research, do your own homework, have your own beliefs, don't follow the crowd, and be an individual, be yourself, and have your own thoughts on what's going on, rather than, believe in this man, that man, the other man, and whatever. I think that the irons are still in the fire, right? Where people say that Levy's trying to fool us, when you've got some of these massive aggregators, right, talking about where we are with the deals and what we're doing, it's not him messing around. It's not Levy messing around. We actually are in for these people, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Do I think we're going to get more players in before the start of the season? Yeah, I do. But in all honesty, I couldn't pinpoint and throw my hat in the ring and tell you we are getting X, Y, and Z in before the start of the season. I just believe that we will make more signings, but I couldn't tell you who they are. It could be anyone that we sign, but I couldn't tell you. But I believe that we will make signings. But we'll wait and see. It'll be nice to have. See, for me, we play Man City this week on Saturday, and then we play Bournemouth the following week. So we've got a full training week before City. We've got a full training week before the Bournemouth game. The Bournemouth game is on the 30th. I believe that the transfer window closes on the 1st of September, which is the Monday. Yeah. So what you'd like to think is if we could bring in players early in the week, then it gives them a chance to have the training sessions, bed in, get to know their players. And that ain't going to happen overnight. But you've got more of a chance when you've got a week leading up to a game than when you've got a couple of days. So I would like to see us make the signings early this week. So it gives them a chance of being in and around the squad for Man City. And if it's not going to happen and it's late in the week this week, then at least hopefully they'll be prepared and in and around the squad for the Bournemouth game. But at the end of the day, I do understand people's frustrations that we're dealing with large amounts of money. But you look at other teams and they get the job done, don't they? They sign the players, they get them done. But in saying that, how many players have Crystal Palace sold recently for big money? How many the players that get sold, Parish gets the best deal he can for these Crystal Palace players. When was the last time that Crystal Palace sold a player for big money? That just goes to show that there could be some truth in it's going to be hard. It's hard to deal with Parish. There could be some truth in that. When was the last time that Man City sold a first-team player for big money? No, people will tell me, people are going to say Julian Alvarez, right? When Julian Alvarez went to Atletico Madrid, he didn't go for big money.
He didn't go for big, wasn't he?
Yeah, he did. He didn't go for the kind of money that they're looking at. Yeah, they didn't go for the kind of money they're looking at for the Savinho deal. Man City have never sold anyone for the kind of money for the Savinho deal. So, at the end of the day, Man City have already supposedly lining up Rodrigo. And if they're lining up Rodrigo, I don't know how Man City get to do this, by the way, but they end up getting players for cheaper than what you expect them to get. I don't know how they do it. I don't know who's scratching who's back there, but if they're holding out for a certain amount of money for Savinho, then it's because they want to put them coffers towards getting other players, and that's rightly so. You're only doing the right thing for your club by doing that.
True.
Pep Guardiola's come out and said that he wants to trim his squad. He said having too many players is difficult because you're keeping people unhappy. So he wants to trim his squad. And whoever, I don't know who the players, he didn't refer to any players by name. He just said he wanted to trim the squad. So.
Well, they've already sold McAtee, haven't they?
McAtee went yesterday, yeah.
To Forest, didn't he?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Say?
Speaking about these signings, I've just noticed that Leroy Sané was sold by Citeh to Bayern Munich for close to 60 million euros. So this was back
Yeah.
in 2020, 60 million euros. That I think is the biggest I've ever seen City sell any of their
What's
players
that about?
to a
What's that about?
non-British club.
54 billion? Is that about right?
Yeah, so that's about the
Yeah.
closest that I can come to, because I saw somewhere that Matthias Nunes is also supposed to be sold to Bayern Munich for roughly around the same sum, 50 million euros, but that is still a lot lesser than the 60 million euros that
Matthias
was
Nunes.
eventually paid.
Matthias Nunes played yesterday for Man City. He's not
Yeah,
gone to
that
Bayern.
was supposed. This was reported
Oh,
way back in July, mind you. So even then, that didn't go through. That purported sale to Bayern didn't go through. So I believe, it's Leroy Sané. Leroy Sané was the last big sale City made off to a non-British club. Back to you, Jose.
hmm. So yeah, so as I said to people, we'll wait and see what happens. We'll wait and see what happens. And the last banner I've got, the last subject we're going to talk about is Chang. Over to you, mate. Will we see Thomas change the system for City?
Okay. If there was one system that I would deploy against City, which I have seen work for Thomas Frank in our favor, would be the three centre backs. The three centre backs of Kevin Denso, Christian Romero, and Van der Ven. Which was what he did last Wednesday night against PSG. So if we were to sort of set up shop and try to hit City on the counter, the same way Jose Mourinho did roughly the same thing during COVID, during lockdown, when we beat them 2-0, courtesy of goals by Son and Giovanni Lo Celso. I believe that was the last time we actually beat them convincingly, albeit that was before that dramatic 4-3 away win at the Etihad, courtesy of a last-minute Kane header that sealed all 3 points for us. So if there is a system that best suits the current squad we have, that we've seen work before once on Wednesday, that would be the system that I would prefer against City. So it remains to see if Thomas Frank is going to deploy that very same formation. And if he doesn't, well, let's just see what he has in store for City, because I believe someone like a Thomas Frank fully analyzes all his oppositions before he decides on his squad. And yeah, if the last two games are anything to go by, the Super Cup final against PSG, as well as the home win against Burnley yesterday, I would leave it to Thomas Frank to select the system. But to answer your question, Jose, if there was a change in system for City, it would be having those three centre backs at the Etihad next weekend. Having said that, back to you, Senor Garcia.
So you're saying then, Chang, you think there will be a change for the City game, yeah?
Yes, I would like to see him start with three centre backs against City.
Okay. I'm going to question you soon. Ellie,
Yeah.
will we see Thomas change the system for City?
Yes, and I agree with Chang. I think he will go to the back three because it works so effectively against PSG. And remember, guys, we didn't lose that game in the 96 minutes that we played. It was 2-2. So it's not like we lost on penalties. We didn't lose the actual game, right? So we held our own and we made a few changes in that game. But I can see Thomas Frank going with Paulinho and Bentancur as well in midfield because he'll need that experience. I'm not 100% sure that he's not going to go with the three youngsters. 100%. Not against Man City. They'll eat them alive. All right. And it'll be detrimental to their careers because they'll get swallowed up. Right. I think maybe Bergvall might survive if we don't get Eze over the line by that time. I think he might, because he showed enough in that game, and he showed enough in his career at Spurs so far to warrant a starting position. But other than that, I think the back three with Porro and Spence again, and I don't think there's going to be any change up front unless we get Savinho over the line. I think he'll be Johnson on the left, Kudus on the right, and Richie in the middle. That's how I see it, and I think it'll be a very good setup for us because those back three, and along with, I must add, along with Danso's missile throw, which is like a Messerschmitt, poof, that is going to be a secret weapon. Well, it's not so secret because they've seen it against PSG, but that can work in our favour to get set pieces as well. Throw-ins, we're going to be good. So we can come out with that game with, I'd say we'll get a draw. I'm confident that we can get a draw, or if not a win, because our defence, when we played against PSG, they were brilliant, that back three. Danso was putting in blocks, getting it in the kahunas as well late on. So I just think that is going to serve us better than playing a flat back four. And I think when we won 4-0, we did that as well with Ange. I think we played the back three, if I remember rightly, and then maybe he switched it up later. Yes, I'm confident if he plays that system, we'll get something out of the game.
So you were talking about Kevin Danthrow, as we call him now.
Danthrow.
Kevin Danthrow. But yesterday we didn't have Kevin Danthrow, but we did have Bergvall taking them throw-ins, and he's got a lob on his throw-ins as well. His throw-ins were long.
Not as good, but
Ellie, do you know what? I was shocked. They went to the minimum to the front post. They were getting to the front post. So his throw, I was like, wow, he was getting it to the front post.
That's two players we've got with a fantastic throw, and it serves us well. It served us well against PSG because that throw by Danson.
So my question to you both is, because you're both saying that we will see change the system. I've got no doubt that we'll probably see a change of system all season because he will adapt to our opponent because he did that at Brentford, and it's the way that he works, and he'll do it at Tottenham as well. But if we're playing a free, right? If we're playing for a free at the back, right? Then Man City only play one up top.
Yeah, but they do play one up top, but they join, and they purposely get players in the box. All right, so it's not just Haaland on his own, right? Because Foden will join, even Rodri will join. They've got Reinders, who's absolutely fabulous. Cherky, they're all willing to join that attack. They're a lot different from what they were last season. Because when I watched them batter Wolves 4-0, they had 3 or 4 players in the box and 3 or 4 waiting for the ball to come out on the periphery. So I just think we've got to play those 3 if we're going to stand any chance.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm just putting it back in there. I'm just thinking, so you're playing with 3 at the back. They only play with Haaland up top. So, you know, at the end of the day,
they set up like that, but they don't play like that. If you know what I mean, he switched it up, Pep Guardiola, because that Cherky, he joins from midfield, and Reinders, oh my God, I was so impressed with him yesterday. And they did a little skit on Match of the Day where they showed how effective he is at moving the ball and his movement off the ball. And Ryan Cherky as well, maybe not as mobile as Reinders, but they were both brilliant in joining the attack. So I think we've got to be on our guard. We've got lots of players who can score in their team, and if Foden hits his form again, we've got to be on our best behaviour in defence. We've got to be right solid to get anything out of that game.
Interesting. As I said, I think we're going to have a season of this where our players are going to keep changing. We're going to keep changing our systems.
We will.
Right. Comments I have. Daniel says, If I believed anything of the ITKs, would say teams would have about 500 signings. Tigaro says Eze's potentially £100 million player, so cough up 70-75 and make it a good deal. Jimmy says, I think we set up for City like the PSG game. Colin B says, good afternoon, Jose Ali Chan. Good afternoon, Colin. I hope you're well, sir. Giant68 has come in and says, big up to the panel in the chat. And thanks to whoever gifted me the membership. You were gifted a membership today, and I know it wasn't Matthew, but my chat won't let me go further back. I've got a feeling that it might have been Tigaro Giant that gifted you your membership today. But welcome on board and welcome as a member. And Daniel says, it's an extra tactic to change it up at times, because where do you ever really see a team make an attack up really from a short throw? No, chuck it in the box and make their defenders have to think. Right, people, we have come to the end of the show. Said I was going to do it for about an hour and a half on a Sunday, so we've come towards the end of the show. I will next be on Tuesday when I do the results show for predictions, fantasy, and predict the prem. And we will take it from there. So thank you very much, Chang. Thank you very much, Ellie, for coming on today.
My pleasure.
Hopefully we can get you on next. Oh no, you're away, ain't you? Shit, you're away.
Yeah, I'm away, but I can come in.
Okay, we'll see what we'll see. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Cyprus as well.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, because I think at the moment, because of the time change and that Chang's midday English time is probably the best time for him at the moment.
So Cyprus is 2 hours ahead. So if you do it what, you're going to do it at the same time next week?
Unless Chang tells me differently next week, because what happened this week is that I was at the game yesterday, and it was when I was leaving the game to go home. So I'm talking about 6 o'clock in the evening. I messaged Chang, thinking to myself, Chang's asleep. I messaged him anyway to say Ellie's coming on, and I'm going to do the show, and I'm going to set it up for midday as normal as we did the week before. So I'm taking a chance that I'm going to do it midday next week, and I think that's what it works.
Yeah, so that'll be 2 o'clock Cyprus time. So I'll just get away from my family. I'll just say I'm just going to the bar.
Okay, fair enough.
I'll sneak up anyway.
All right. So so thank you very much, guys. Thank you to everyone in the chat. Chang, any final words?
It's 3 goals, 3 points against Burnley. Let's hope to keep it up next weekend against Manchester City. Let's all pray as well. Pray hard that Richy Eze goes through, or rather he comes through unscathed against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, because the last thing we need is our London rivals trying to jeopardize his transfer by resorting to dirty tactics to see to it that he fails his medical at Hotspur Way. We hope that's not the case. And it's going to be a very interesting end to this transfer window. We have exactly 2 weeks to go. Yes, we have exactly 2 weeks to go to the 31st of August. So let's just wait and see how the next fortnight transpires in terms of our incomings, and keep the faith, everyone. Keep the faith in Thomas Frank. I know it's only 1 league game, but if yesterday and Wednesday night is anything to go by, I think we're in for a very momentous season. But let's just stay grounded for the moment. Come on, you Spurs. And thank you again for having me on, as always, Senor Garcia. Having said that, back to you, FA.
Ellie, your last words?
Yeah, my last words are Eze, go and get Eze, oi, 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 and Johnson again, ole, ole, Johnson again, ole, ole, Johnson again, Johnson again, Johnson again, ole, ole. That's all I've got to say.
Fantastic. And before I go, I need to thank some people. I'm thanking Peter Kagayas for gifting 5 channel memberships. Tigaro, big thank you for also gifting 5 channel memberships. Another big thank you to Matthew for gifting 5 channel memberships. And Matthew gifted them and then decided after gifting them that he would become a member. So 7 minutes after he gifted, he decided to become a member. So thank you very much to these people for sponsoring the show.
Great stuff.
Thank you very much to Ellie and to Chang for
Thank
today.
you.
And with
Thank
me,
you,
as
Jose.
always, I leave it with always. Have a lovely week, remainder of your weekend, people. See you all on Tuesday. And it's for me, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Tell, Cockerell. He's just a true guy. You'll have a true time. Tell, Cockerell. Leave your troubles at the door. You know the game, you know the score. We're here to have fun, so holster that gun and read the writing on the wall. The predictions leak, done every week. It just goes on and 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 on. Why do I always get it wrong? Tell, Cockerell. He's just a chill guy. You'll have a chill time. Tell, Cockerell. Jose gets himself around. Always talking Spurs, wherever he is found, home or away. He always tips to win, throws the form book in the bin with a cheeky knowing grin. Tell, Cockerell. He's just a chill guy. You'll have a chill time. Tell, Cockerell. The Predictions League, done every week. It just goes on and on and on and on. Why do I always get it wrong? Every time I play along. Tell, Cockerell. The show is so chilled, your time is well filled. If you want good friendly chat, then here's where it's at. Tell, Cockerell. Goes on and 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 on. Why do I always get it wrong? Tell, Cockerell. The show is so chill, your time is well filled. If you want good friendly chat, then here's where it's at.